Well, Javier Farje is an analyst specialising in Latin American affairs, and he joins us live from London. Thank you very much. What happens now that this has come? Is he likely to go on trial?
Well, it depends on the Attorney General, Mr. Jorge Messias. The file has been sent to the Supreme Court, and a judge from the Supreme Court called Alexander de Moraes will study the report from the federal police. He will remit that. He will send that to the Attorney General, Jorge Messias, and he has three choices. One, to go ahead with the prosecution. That means to go to trial. Second, to dismiss all the charges and completely forget about it. Or third, to ask for more investigations. Now, the key issue here is that this is the first time Mr. Bolsonaro has been formally accused of being the head, the organizer of this coup attempt. And the investigation has been thorough, has taken almost 2 years. This investigation would have started before he left office in December 2022, which means that this has been planned for quite a while. Now, I think it's extremely important to emphasize that this report has been done through many details. We're talking about telephone calls, bank accounts, intelligence work. It's been a very thorough, detailed investigation. And they identified, this was what they call, quote unquote, criminal organization through threat to abolish the democratic rule, quote unquote. They identified six units which had organized this coup. This was not a spontaneous movement by disgruntled Bolsonaristas who decided to make some violence. This was well organized, according to this report, well organized. We're creating 6 units, which will include dismissing and attacking the electoral system, a unit to recruit members of the armed forces to join the coup, a legal unit, a parallel intelligence unit, which would study all this, 6 units which were intended to organize this coup. So this was not a spontaneous movement by disgruntled followers of Bolsonaro. This was a well-organized coup, according to this investigation.
Yeah, as you were saying, it was a deep dive of an investigation. I read somewhere something like 800 pages and a lot of information to go through. Many high-profile people, as you mentioned there, not just Bolsonaro. Now, in a twist of fate somehow, because Bolsonaro had actually come into power after Lula was banned from running as president in 2018 on corruption conviction.
Yes, but I mean, the convictions were dismissed by an attorney, by a prosecutor. So he was allowed to run for presidency. He won the election and fair and square. So there was, of course, he said that there was like a political vendetta against him, but the accusations were dismissed, some of them because the time lapsed, and some, in other cases, because there was not enough evidence to link him directly to corruption charges, which is the reason why he was allowed by the Electoral Commission or by the Supreme Court to stand as candidate, and as we know, he won the election. So in that respect, but also people were very angry with Bolsonaro because of the way that he managed the pandemic, the COVID pandemic. Many people died. There was badly organized, the destruction of the rainforest, which became a big issue, and a lot of corruption within his government. So people were tired, and they wanted to give Lula a second chance.
Yeah, and if I remember correctly, that seemed to be a turning point because he was an incredibly popular president in Brazil. How is the general opinion amongst Brazilians at the moment with this, especially since he did have a huge support?
He still has a constituency, particularly in the rural areas of Brazil, which is where he won. Where if you see, Brazil is a federal country, and if you see where Bolsonaro won, that's the rural areas where you have these ranchers who have been, in many ways, destroying the rainforest and having, cattle and plants and all that. So he has a constituency there. He has deputies within the deputies chamber, which might gather all the support from conservative members of the Brazilian Congress, because Lula does not have a full majority, neither in Congress nor in the Senate. So it could be some action within the Congress, but also his followers will probably try to protest or try to mount a campaign to defend him. He denies, of course, as we know, the charges, but this could be a test for the capacity of Brazilian democracy to consolidate its position in Brazil. But expect protest, expect opposition, expect action in Congress from the rural members of parliament who support Mr. Bolsonaro.
Well, that will certainly be something we'll be watching out for in one of the largest democracies in the world, Brazil. Thank you very much, Javier Farje, for joining us.
My pleasure.